Welcome to Super Simple Chats, Rest's very own podcast. We will be speaking to industry experts about all things super, trying to make it understandable and relatable for everyday Aussies. After all, it's one of the biggest assets you'll ever have. We're recording this podcast on Gadigal land. We pay our respects to elders past and present. Any advice you hear on this podcast is general in nature and doesn't take into account your financial situation, needs or objectives. Issued by retail employee Superannuation Pty Ltd. Before deciding to join or stay, consider the relevant PDS and TMD at rest.com.au/PDS. Hi, I'm Ange, and this is my co-host Andy. And look, until I started working in super, the idea of what happens to my super when I pass away hadn't really entered the equation. Like I had thought about, what happens to my apartment or what happens to my car. But at no point had I thought about what happens to my super and also the insurance in my super. And really, when you think about like passing away, I just like to think about the epic party that everyone's going to have in my honor. But now that I'm actually here, I'm like, well, maybe we should talk about this because I'm probably not the only Australian that's gone like, I've never actually thought about what happens to super when you die.
Yeah. I guess like super feels kind of intangible, right? Like it's this thing that's there. It's not like a house or a car that you can see and you can touch and you can feel, but it is one of your biggest assets.
That's a really good point.
It makes sense to really think about this and make sure you're getting it right and getting it set up because ultimately it will be for someone you love and you want those things to go to the people you love.
Well, on that note, answering this string of morbidly interesting questions is Sam from Rest. Welcome to the podcast, Sam.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
I just want to know, what would happen to my super when I pass?
Firstly, so sorry for your loss. You will be sorely missed.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So with your superannuation, it doesn't automatically fall into your estate like what your apartment or your car or other assets will. So what will happen is when you pass away, either one of your family members or the ATO will let us know that you've passed away. And then that's when we will jump in, have a look whether you've got a beneficiary listed on your account, and then we pay according to that beneficiary.
Okay, so just to clarify that, when you say the word beneficiary, do you mean like the person that gets your money when you pass away or people maybe? Like what does that mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So it is the person or people, or you can also nominate your estate to receive your,
Okay.
Yeah, because there's laws around who you can actually nominate as a beneficiary. Sometimes your closest loved ones don't actually fall into those categories. So that's when you're able to nominate your estate and then have a will sat in the background that will nominate those people for you.
Okay. That sounds like hard work.
It's not. It's actually not too bad. I've done it myself. So I have nominated my estate. If I was to pass away, Rest would have a look at my beneficiary nomination form. It would say my estate. Yep. And then I've also got a will set up, which would say that I leave it to half and half to my mum and my brother. Lucky them if they're listening.
Right. Sure, organised.
I know. So that is just because I can't legally nominate my mum or my brother as my beneficiaries.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
Right.
We'll get to that later, actually. I've got a bit of a story for that. And we will get to it a little bit later.
So did you have to nominate your estate because super doesn't automatically doesn't automatically just fall into that bucket? It's something manually has to happen.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I've always thought that it would just naturally go to that. There would be like some logical thing that would happen. Mm-hmm. But I guess if you don't nominate them, what are you going to do? Like haunt Rest? Like how are you going to let them know you're going to come back as a ghost?
Exactly what you actually want done with it. Yeah.
Open the elevator doors at like the wrong time and and be like spooky. But that won't work, I guess. I'd imagine it would have to be like, you let them know before you go. Yeah. It goes to your estate or it goes to a beneficiary. Yeah. What is that thing called? Does that have a technical name or something like the payment or is it just money? What do you call that?
So it's called your superannuation death benefit.
Right.
So what will get paid out if you pass away is your balance of your superannuation, as well as if you've got life insurance inside your super. So say you've got $100,000, for example, of life insurance inside your super, that also gets paid. So whatever your balance is plus that, because you've passed away, the whole lump sum will go to whoever your beneficiary is.
Okay, cool.
Lucky them. So what happens if no beneficiary has been nominated?
So if you don't have a beneficiary on your account whatsoever, REST will then follow the laws that are in place and use their discretion based on your circumstances at the time of death, and then they will pay according to their discretion. So that could potentially be as simple as paying it to your estate, but the money still will get paid out somewhere. It's just it takes much longer for REST to determine where to pay it.
Interesting. Well, I've got a story for you guys. It's a bit of a personal one, and I can tell you now, my husband's not going to be too happy that I'm sharing it, but I am going to do it anyway. So I got married about a year ago, a bit over a year. Pretty much the week that I got married, I went in and I updated my beneficiary on the REST app to be my husband. And then I spoke to him about it about a year later. Like, it came up in conversation and we spoke about it a few months ago. And I was like, oh, who have you got listed as your beneficiary on your super app? And I was so shook by the answer. He goes, oh, it's my mum. Like, not even his dad, his mum. And I was like, no, you can't have your mum as your beneficiary. He's like, why not? I'm like, well, firstly, like, let's not even unpack that, because why not? I'm your wife. But beside that point, you're not allowed to, my understanding is you're not allowed to have your mum. So for the people listening at home who are like my husband and have their mums as their beneficiaries when they shouldn't, can you tell us who you can and can't have as a beneficiary?
Absolutely. So what it falls under is what's called a cis-dependent. So a cis-dependent will be your spouse. Yeah. It can also be a de facto partner as well. Your children, they automatically fall under a dependent under the CIS Act. And then the last one is whether someone is in an interdependent relationship with you. So it also falls with things like perhaps you're looking after an elderly parent. Okay. So things like that as well will fall under the CIS Act.
Okay. So under certain circumstances, Ross could have possibly put his mum down.
In this instance, I don't think so.
It's so much more like, it's like, I think the thing that's surprising me now is it's like, whoa, there's a lot to a dependent. You know what I mean? Like, it's a bit more complicated than what in the back of my mind I thought it would be. And it's quite interesting. I get where Ross is coming from. I fall into the mama's boy bucket. I'd be like, all right, let's just pop in mum. She's also my, emergency contact and all that other stuff. But
I should have predicted this.
But I can 100% get that she's no longer a dependent, right?
Yeah. So in that instance, the nomination will be deemed invalid, but REST still then can use their discretion as to who to pay the funds out to.
Okay.
So they could potentially say pay it into the estate, but it's just with the binding nominations that, like I said, it supersedes your will. So whatever you have listed, it goes to them, and it's just really quick because we don't have to look into it. As long as that's valid, REST doesn't have to look into it and the money just gets paid, and it can get paid within a matter of days in that instance.
Okay, so it's a faster process.
Correct.
Doesn't take time.
Yeah.
Okay. So like my husband, who now I hope has given some great thought into who he could nominate as his beneficiary, how easy is it to nominate a beneficiary and what's the process?
So with a non-binding nomination, it is super easy. It is as easy as jumping into the REST app and filling in the details and setting it up, hitting enter, and it's good to go. It's a little bit more difficult with the binding nomination just because it's quite an important legal document, as I mentioned. So with that one, we do need a signed form that also has to be signed by 2 witnesses as well.
Okay. You know what, though? Actually, it might be really helpful if we get Phil to show us exactly how to nominate a beneficiary in the REST app. Phil, over to you.
Thanks, Ange. So I'm going to show you how to nominate a non-binding beneficiary in less than a minute. Grab your phone and open up your REST app. Now tap Menu and Beneficiaries. Seems easy enough. Select non-binding beneficiary. Type in their details, then tap Done. Make sure you consider your situation and who in your life you can validly nominate before going through the process. Simple. Back to you, Ange.
That was awesome. Thanks, Phil.
So, Sam, you mentioned just briefly there binding and non-binding beneficiaries. In my mind, it sort of seems like at the moment one's trickier than the other one. Can you just explain to me the difference between the two?
So Binding beneficiaries are a bit more official. So what we do need is a form signed as well as signed by 2 witnesses.
Okay.
So it's a legally binding document. So that's why it's a bit more complex getting that one through. So the nomination form will walk you through how to fill it out. It's pretty straightforward. It'll go through things like who's eligible to be a witness on the form. But if you do find that it's a little bit tricky, we've got financial advisors that can help talk you through it.
Beautiful.
Right.
Well, that doesn't sound too bad.
So there's financial advisors there for our members, right?
Correct.
REST members.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay,
Yep.
cool. Why would you want to choose a non-binding beneficiary if it's not actually legally binding?
So with your non-binding beneficiaries, REST will still take into consideration what you've listed there. It's way, way quicker to do. Like we saw with Phil before, it can take like 2 minutes to pop in your details. So it's just much easier and quicker to do the nomination. But then with your binding nominations, there is a bit more involved in getting those in with the form and your witnesses. But once that's in, that's legally binding, and that's where REST is going to pay the money to. So if you want that peace of mind that if you were to pass away, it's going exactly where you want it to, no discretion involved, then that's where you would look at a binding nomination.
Yeah.
Keeping in mind, though, that they do lapse every 3 years, so you've got to keep on top of it.
Okay.
Got it. And when I was doing it myself, I noticed that when you are doing a non-binding, because I haven't done a binding personally, although I probably should after this chat, with my non-binding, it asked me to round it up to whole numbers. So if you have an odd number of people, does that mean that you have to get selective about who's going to get more than the other?
Your favourite will be noted on that piece of paper.
Ooh, okay.
If you've got 3 kids, someone's getting 34%.
Oh, okay. No.
I'm getting the 34%. Well,
Are you one of 3, Andy?
No, I'm one of 4, yeah. So it'll probably be 20.
That's
20.
a lot easier.
Yeah,
Even numbers, easier to manage. Odd numbers, not so. I noticed that. I thought, okay, that could get tricky.
Yeah, no, one of my sisters is getting written out. No, that's not happening. Yeah. They're all on it. I love you all. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Are there any other types of beneficiaries that we should be aware of? We've touched on binding. We've touched on non-binding. Is there any others?
So with our pension accounts, there is a nomination called reversionary beneficiary.
Yep.
So what that does is if you're receiving your pension payments as a monthly payment, you can nominate someone, your spouse, for example, to receive the payment as a monthly payment rather than the lump sum if you choose to do so.
Okay.
So that's the
receive it
reversionary.
like a pension.
Absolutely.
As you were receiving.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sure. Keeps that income coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Right.
So we went out and we spoke to everyday Aussies to see if they nominated their beneficiaries.
Do you know what a beneficiary is? Have you ever heard that word?
No, I have not.
I know the term, but in this context,
Okay.
no.
Yes.
Is that the person receiving the money? Yeah?
I don't.
So if you could pick anyone to be your beneficiary of your super, who would it be?
My mom.
Your mum? Aww.
My family. My fiance.
Probably my sister.
And my spouse.
Your spouse?
Well, my beneficiary is my wife.
Pick my mum.
Your mum?
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, because she's done heaps for me. So
your
I might
mum?
as well,
Yeah.
give it to her, give back.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today. We have learnt about what happens to super when you pass away. We've learnt about the different types of beneficiaries and how to nominate them. In fact, we'll be sure to pop some of the links in the show notes below, especially on how to nominate a beneficiary. But before we go, there's just one more thing I think I have to do. He's going to hate me so much for this.
Hey, babe.
Hey, honey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right. I've just got a quick question for you. You know how we were talking earlier on this year about your mum being nominated as your beneficiary? I was just wondering, have you actually updated that, or is your mum still your beneficiary?
I think you're on it now.
Oh, good answer, babe. I will talk to you a little bit later, all right?
I'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
To be honest, I was actually kind of hoping that he would say his mum just because I thought it would make for a really good content. And I'm actually disappointed.
You nailed it, Ross.
We love an organised kid.
Absolutely smashing it.
So he's a good husband after all.
Yeah. I better get onto mine before my wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Make sure you do.
Yeah. Thanks so much for listening. Make sure you like and subscribe and leave any comments that you'd like to, if you'd like to learn anything else about super. We've learned so much today and I feel like I've had a really great time. Thank you, and thank you.
And that's
super simple.